quit eating and has been losing weight. And in this heat, that doesn't sound good at all.
Boy, the last few days he's lost much weight and
Yep.
breathing hard.
We take it.
For decades, Dr. Paul defied age and pain, saving animals in every storm. But one shocking accident changed it all, forcing the end of an extraordinary story fans never wanted to lose. Let's uncover this interesting story. Childhood in the Netherlands. Jan Pol was born in 1942 in the small Dutch village of Wateren during the middle of World War II. Life was not easy. His family lived through shortages, cold winters, and the uncertainty of wartime Europe. But even as a boy, Jan was surrounded by farm animals. His family owned cows, pigs, and chickens, and he was drawn to them immediately. By the time he was 12 years old, he helped deliver a litter of piglets. That moment left such a strong impression on him that he decided his life's purpose would be to care for animals. While other children dreamed of being soldiers, teachers, or shopkeepers, Jan's dream was always to be a veterinarian. In the late 1960s, Jan enrolled at Utrecht University, one of the oldest universities in the Netherlands. He trained in veterinary science with a special focus on large animals like cows and horses. The program was rigorous, but Jan's work ethic and passion carried him through. It was also during this time that he met Diane, an American exchange student. Their connection was immediate. Diane's warmth matched Jan's determination, and together they built a partnership that would last a lifetime. After graduation, Jan made a life-changing decision. Instead of staying in Europe, he moved with Diane to her home state of Michigan. It was a bold choice, but one that would define his future. Building a practice in Michigan. When Jan and Diane arrived in rural Michigan, they quickly noticed a gap in the community. Farmers needed reliable, affordable veterinary care. Many of their animals were their livelihoods, yet few vets were willing to work in remote areas, often at odd hours and in difficult weather. Jan decided to fill that gap. In 1981, the couple founded Pol Veterinary Services in Wademan, Michigan. The clinic began small, run from their farmhouse, but word spread quickly. Dr. Pol was not afraid to roll up his sleeves, climb into a freezing barn at midnight, or drive miles down dirt roads to help a struggling cow. He worked with animals of every size: horses, goats, pigs, sheep, dogs, cats, and even the occasional exotic pet. His reputation grew because he combined medical skill with plain-spoken honesty. Farmers appreciated his straightforward approach. Pet owners trusted his compassion. By the late 2000s, Dr. Pol had been practicing for decades. His son Charles, who had studied film, saw potential in turning his father's work into a documentary-style series. Charles pitched the idea to producers, and soon National Geographic Wild was on board. In 2011, The Incredible Dr. Pol premiered. The show's concept was simple: follow Dr. Pol and his team through their daily veterinary cases. The cameras captured emergencies, surgeries, farm calls, and even lighthearted family moments. The audience loved it. Dr. Pol's humor, his Dutch accent, and his unfiltered approach to medicine made the show unlike anything else on television. Instead of glamorized city vets, viewers saw a rugged country doctor who was not afraid to get dirty and who treated every animal with respect. The series quickly became one of Nat Geo Wild's highest-rated shows. It aired in more than 100 countries, making Dr. Pol an unlikely international celebrity. The show introduced not just Dr. Pol, but also his family. Diane was the heart of the home, balancing the books and supporting the practice. Charles often appeared on screen, helping at the clinic, while also producing behind the scenes. The Pols also fostered and adopted children, creating a family built on love and resilience. Their story added depth to the series, showing viewers that Dr. Pol was more than just a veterinarian. He was a husband, a father, and a man deeply committed to his family. A grueling workload. For years, Dr. Paul balanced the demands of running a clinic and filming a television show. His schedule was brutal. Days often started before sunrise and stretched late into the night. In Michigan's harsh winters, he trudged through snow and ice to reach remote barns. In the humid summers, he sweated under the sun while tending to livestock. The physical demands were extraordinary. He lifted heavy animals, restrained frightened horses, and performed countless surgeries. Fans admired his tireless energy, but behind the scenes, the workload began to take a toll. His body was aging, yet he refused to slow down. Legal controversies. During the height of his fame, Dr. Paul also faced criticism. Veterinary boards filed complaints alleging that his old-school methods did not always meet modern medical standards. He was accused of failing to wear gloves or follow certain surgical protocols. Although some cases led to fines or temporary restrictions, his fans stood by him. They argued that his decades of experience spoke louder than bureaucratic rules. To them, Dr. Paul represented a trusted veterinarian who served farmers when no one else would. Still, the controversies weighed heavily on him. He remained proud of his work, but acknowledged that the spotlight brought challenges he never expected when he first became a country vet. Then came the moment that changed everything. During a routine farm call, Dr. Paul suffered a terrible fall. While assisting with a large animal, he was knocked off balance and landed hard on the ground. The accident left him with broken ribs and significant injuries to his hip and leg. At his age, recovery was not simple. The pain was excruciating, and movement became difficult. Suddenly, the man known for his unstoppable energy was confined, limited, and forced to face his own vulnerability. For decades, Dr. Paul had powered through fatigue, injury, and weather. But this time, his body could not bounce back the way it once had. Fans noticed changes almost immediately in the episodes following the accident. Dr. Paul appeared slower, more cautious, and less active. Instead of rushing into barns, he observed while younger veterinarians took the lead. The clinic continued with a strong team, but viewers could see that Dr. Paul was no longer at the center of every case. His presence, once commanding, had become more advisory. For loyal fans, it was heartbreaking. They had watched him for over a decade, admired his stamina, and believed he was unstoppable. Now they saw the reality. Age and injury had finally caught up with him. The end of an era. The accident marked the beginning of the end for the incredible Dr. Paul. Although the show did not immediately end, its spirit changed. The energy that once defined it had shifted. For Dr. Paul, stepping back was agonizing. His entire identity was built around serving animals. To accept that he could no longer work as before was like losing a part of himself. For Diane and Charles, watching him struggle was equally painful. They supported him, but they also knew it was time for him to slow down. The end of the era came quietly, not with a dramatic farewell, but with the slow realization that the incredible country vet who once did it all could no longer continue at the same pace. At 82, after a lifetime of service, Dr. Paul began reflecting on his journey. He expressed gratitude for the farmers who trusted him, the viewers who supported him, and the countless animals he had saved. He acknowledged regrets, especially not slowing down sooner. Yet he also took pride in leaving behind a clinic that could continue serving the community. His greatest joy came from knowing that his legacy would live on in the veterinarians he mentored and the millions of fans he inspired. After the accident, Dr. Paul faced one of the toughest battles of his life. For a man who had spent decades running across barns and lifting animals with his bare hands, being forced to rely on crutches and therapy was devastating. Physical recovery was slow. His hip and leg never regained their full strength. Walking across uneven farm fields, once second nature, became painful and risky. For the first time in his career, he had to accept limitations. Emotionally, the struggle was even harder. Dr. Pol had always been defined by action. Sitting back and watching others do the work felt like losing a part of himself. He often expressed frustration at not being able to move as freely as he once did. For a man in his 80s, the accident was not just a setback, but a clear signal of mortality. Impact on family. The accident did not only affect Dr. Pol. His wife Diane, who had stood beside him since their early days in Michigan, carried the emotional burden as well. She had always supported his long hours and endless energy, but now she had to watch her husband struggle with pain. Charles, his son, also felt the weight of the moment. As the producer of the show, Charles knew that fans adored his father's presence. But he also understood that filming could no longer demand the same level of activity from Dr. Pol. Charles balanced the difficult role of protecting his father's health while still giving viewers the stories they loved. The clinic staff also stepped up. Younger veterinarians began handling more cases, while Dr. Pol supervised and advised. The practice continued, but everyone understood that the dynamic had changed. When episodes aired after the accident, fans immediately noticed the difference. The once unstoppable veterinarian now appeared slower, sitting more often, and letting others take the lead. Social media was flooded with comments. Some expressed heartbreak at seeing their hero decline. Others offered love, prayers, and support. Many fans shared personal stories of watching the show with their families for years, and how much inspiration they drew from Dr. Pol's work ethic and kindness. For many viewers, watching Dr. Pol struggle was like watching a family member grow old. They had followed his journey for over a decade, and the thought of the show ending brought sadness. A quiet retirement. Although the series continued for some time, it became clear that Dr. Pol was moving toward retirement. There was no dramatic final announcement at first. Instead, it was a gradual transition. The clinic carried on under the guidance of younger vets, while Dr. Pol's role shifted into more of a mentor and symbol. He still appeared on screen, but his presence became more reflective than active. Behind the scenes, he and Diane began spending more time at home, enjoying simple moments that years of grueling work had not allowed. For the first time in decades, Dr. Pol slowed down. He finally allowed himself to rest, something he had resisted for most of his life. Despite the quiet retirement, the accident left lasting emotional scars. Dr. Pol admitted in interviews that slowing down was harder than he expected. He often missed the long drives, the middle-of-the-night emergencies, and the satisfaction of saving an animal in crisis. Diane encouraged him to focus on the legacy he had built, rather than what he could no longer do. Charles reminded him that millions of people had been inspired by his example. Yet, for Dr. Pol, letting go was one of the most heartbreaking challenges of his life. The incredible Dr. Pol changed the way audiences saw veterinary medicine. It was not glamorous or polished. It was dirty, difficult, and sometimes heartbreaking. Yet it was real. Dr. Pol became a symbol of old-fashioned values, dedication, honesty, and resilience. His show taught viewers that rural vets are heroes who keep farming communities alive. His humor, compassion, and determination created a legacy that no accident could erase. Even as the show neared its end, reruns and streaming platforms introduced new generations to his story. Children who once dreamed of being astronauts or athletes began dreaming of becoming veterinarians because of Dr. Pol. His influence extended far beyond television ratings. Reflections in later years. In his later years, Dr. Pol often spoke about gratitude. He was grateful for his family, his loyal fans, and the opportunity to live his dream for so many decades. He also spoke honestly about regret. He wished he had slowed down earlier, spent more time with Diane, and taken better care of his body. He admitted that the accident forced him to confront his humanity in a way he had avoided for years. Still, he expressed peace with the journey he had traveled. His life, filled with both triumphs and tragedies, had meaning beyond what he could have imagined as a young farm boy in the Netherlands. The accident was not just a physical injury. It was the turning point that marked the end of an era. Without it, perhaps Dr. Pol would have pushed himself even further, risking greater harm. But the accident forced him to stop, to face the truth that his body could no longer keep up with his spirit. For fans, the accident symbolized the fragility of even the strongest heroes. It reminded them that time spares no one, not even a man who had once seemed unstoppable. The final goodbye. When the show eventually reached its quiet conclusion, it was bittersweet. There was no grand farewell episode filled with tears. Instead, there was an understanding. Fans knew it was time. The ending of The Incredible Dr. Pol was less about loss and more about appreciation. It celebrated a man who had dedicated his life to animals and who allowed millions to share that journey with him. Dr. Pol's story is not just about a veterinarian or a television show. It is about resilience, compassion, and legacy. He proved that you do not need wealth or glamour to touch lives. You need dedication, kindness, and the courage to serve others. His clinic continues, his reruns still play, and his influence on veterinary students remains strong. But most importantly, his story shows that even when tragedy strikes, a life built on love and service leaves a legacy far greater than any accident could take away. If Dr. Pol's heartbreaking journey inspired you, share this video, subscribe for more untold stories, and join our channel. Together, let's honor the lives and legacies behind beloved icons.